Hello, it's Phil Harvey here at Network X Americas in Irving, Texas. And joining me is Crystal Dowd from Lumen
Hello.
and Brian Beutler from Alianza. Boy, I thought I was going to trip over that, but I didn't. That's
You
great.
did great.
But
Well done.
anyway, you were both just on a panel with me and with Evan Kirchheimer from Omdia talking about the telco to techco transformation.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things I want to get to straight away that was talked about on the panel is what Lumen is doing with its access network, access equipment, and and digital twins, and how that translates to a transformation in terms of your business.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that topic. We've been working really hard for the last several years. And I would say what's really spawned it is putting the customer at the center of our focus. We want to make sure that the customer is actually has at their fingertips their ability to manage their own network, and that it's done seamlessly so that they don't even understand, they don't have to know the technical things. They just get features and functionality that they want at their fingertips to instantly be able to achieve their needs. And so with that goal in mind, we really worked backwards, and we decided to take the equipment that we put inside of the home and actually stop buying it off the shelf and create it from scratch based on a design that would have the features and the hardware we needed to complement a single software. And you mentioned that digital twin. We're so excited about this single software and the digital twin capabilities, because that's what's allowing us to really fundamentally change how we do business, not just with the customer, but also internally. So an example of that would be wireless technology innovates rather quickly. And so we've separated that out. We have our ONT access NID, and then we have our Wi-Fi devices. And by doing that, coupled with the digital twin, if a customer wants to go, let's say, from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 7, we can ship them a device. No technician needed.
Okay.
The customer seamlessly through their app sees what they need to unplug, plug back in, scans a QR code, and literally that digital twin in the cloud is already activated all of their preferences and settings on the hardware itself. And so it really is instant. We don't have that technician, and so what you see is we have customers that are satisfied, so your NPS goes up. Your operational expense comes down because we're not having to roll a truck for everything anymore. And even the capital cost, believe it or not, came down by us really being able to be laser focused and selective on how we design that.
And so you're helping them jump generations, without having a hard stop in there,
That's
without
right.
having to reconfigure their network and do tear everything up and have their nephew over to unplug everything and all
Exactly.
that kind of
Yes.
stuff. Nothing against nephews.
Right.
But Brian, when you're talking to telcos and working with companies like Lumen, what are their challenges when it comes to sort of getting that operational weight off their shoulders? Because you guys help take portions of their network and cloud manage it for them.
Yeah, so much of this is around changing culture, changing how they think about aligned incentives and outcomes they're all striving for. And we like to talk about kind of the status quo being the biggest challenge. The way things have been done in the past. Sometimes there are barriers to holding people back from trying things new and really, truly transforming. And I think there's very few industries out there that are, I'll call it, more entrenched in how things have been done than telco. So many of these companies, some of them like Lumen have telco roots that go back more than a century. And so trying to kind of parse out what the kind of the pieces of that worth salvaging, worth investing in, worth leveraging on a go forward basis, but also not being afraid to kind of embrace what's new and different at the edge and create those different customer experiences is really part of the key to this equation.
That makes sense. There's a kind of a concern that telcos had back a few years ago that they were being hollowed out, that they were not going to be as valuable a company anymore because all anyone needed was their connectivity. And neither one of you seem to have to buy into that. What message would you have for telcos that are worried that that they're in a dangerous or a sort of a precarious spot? They have cloud customers and competitors all in the same companies there. They have that legacy of technology, and maybe they're a little slower to change in the culture department. What else do they have that kind of gives them an edge right now?
Yeah, I'll start and then I'll hand it off to Crystal. We're super bullish on service providers' long-term ability to win here. I think if the last 10 years have kind of been defined by, I'll call it competitive outside pressure, innovating at the edge of the service provider network externally, the next 10 years are going to be about how service providers reclaim their right to win by innovating at the edge of their network internally, and then delivering that experience to customers holistically in a way that leverages these great network assets that they've invested billions and billions of dollars in, and now creating customer experiences that are seamless across network and services to really create customer experiences that are uniquely positioned to drive value in a way that I would say over-the-top external software and solution providers just can't. And that's a really exciting time, I think, for service providers to be a part of this transformation journey.
Yeah, I agree. It is a super exciting time. And I think it's just, if you look at our DNA as a service provider, it's about connecting people, having connectivity. That's what created us. And now, just like you said, we have that opportunity to solidify that and win back maybe any ground that we think we may have lost by focusing on that customer, giving them these cloud native services at their fingertips in a single app in many cases, right? And so I'm really excited about that too, because customers expect and need more every day. And that is actually one of the things that excites me the most. How can we fill those needs? How can we give them what we need? And to be able to focus on that more than just a speed and a latency or a dumb pipe is exhilarating. So let's embrace it and open up the future.
Okay, well, we have plenty of things, optimistic things to think about. So thankfully they were on the panel and it wasn't just me ranting into space. But thanks for joining us here on Network X Americas, and check us out at lightreading.com. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.